Am I audible now? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think uh, we have only two participants till now. So I think we can start. We have already waited for 5 minutes. So I think we can start the session. So once again, good evening to all of you. So as you already know that today is the last session of this week 12, and as well as this whole course. So basically today's session is like kind of summary kind of session. Okay, OPP test is this weekend. Okay, I guess that is why participants are not joining, right? Okay, okay. No problem. I think we can carry on with this number of participants also. They can watch this session uh, later also, the recorded session. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I was telling about this session. Like in the today's session, basically we have just come up with some kind of some couple of questions like basically related to this week, like week 12. So we want all of you to participate in this session because this is a last session of our week 12. So yeah, so I think this session will be great if all of you will interact and as well as answer question whatever we ask and whatever we impose to you. So okay, so basically we prepared some questions for you, and I'll show you what are those questions one by one, and we'll discuss on that question such that the session will be more interactive and all of you can reply also. And yeah, so we can start the session. I think let me share my screen and then show you. Give me 1 minute, right? Okay, so my screen is visible, right? Can someone please
Yeah,
confirm?
it's
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. Let me present the screen. Okay. Okay, so as we have only three participants till now, I guess, and I assume that all of you can answer. So please go to this menti.com, www.menti.com, and use this code like 25952606. Uh, Basically this session, the agenda of this session is that only, like all of you, the participants, all of the participants of the session part, uh, can participate and can answer also, and then later on we can discuss on that. So I'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. I hope you all have opened that www.menti.com and uh, using this code for further things. So um, okay. So I can paste the code on chat also for your reference. Like if someone join later, 606, like 25952606, right? Okay. Um, as far as I can see, there is no one joining till now. Can you please go to can you all please go to this menti.com and use this code for joining? Is there any issue?
Yeah, I have joined. You don't see me.
No, I'm not able to see you. Like here in my screen, there is okay, no problem. Um,
See,
What
there
is
is
the
a there is a blank form without any questions. I don't know whether we're supposed to enter something. I'll just enter my name and I'll just submit.
Yeah, you can submit it because I'm not able to see or any participants joining like here on the screens. Okay.
So I think you see there is no question. It's just a blank form. So I just put my
Okay.
name. So
Can you see the question now?
yes, now I can see. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is the first question itself also. So this is our first question. What do you mean by deployment? Okay, so this is our first question. Like week 12 basically deals with this deployment thing, right? In the previous session, also in the Wednesday session, you all, whoever attended, like sir has taken the full session on deployment, how to do deployment and what is deployment. So yeah, it is, I assume all of you know that what do you mean by deployment. Okay, so I'll wait for some time and then we can quickly recap that what is basically a deployment. Okay, so okay, I can see one preparation in one reply, and I'm wishing for some more. Like we have 3 participants, right? So all of you, I guess all of you can answer here. Whatever you know about deployment, that is basically this the agenda of the session, right? So whoever just doesn't know about deployment or whatever you know, you can post it here. Like if any confusion is there or anything else, we can discuss upon. So yeah.
Ma'am,
Is someone speaking?
ma'am, before you start your discussion, can you please briefly explain what are containers?
What are
Containers, ma'am.
okay containers?
Yes, ma'am. Containers.
Okay, so yeah, we can discuss that too. But can we finish this first? Like finish this question.
Okay.
Okay, so someone more giving more answer. I'm hoping for more answers. Okay, I think we can start discussing like what do you mean by deployment? See, I can see one answer here. Preparation of application. Okay, another one. Preparation of the application for use in production and putting it in the production. Okay, so deployment is the process of installing, configuring, updating, and enabling application. Fine. Okay, so the putting the app on the internet for use by user. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I need to say. Like all of this are yeah right about deployment. Like yeah, this is basically deployment. Deployment is what, like putting the app on the internet for use. Yeah, this is also correct, and all of the 3 is fine. So if we go somewhere in the layman terms, like those who doesn't know anything about deployment, like what is deployment and what is the concept behind deployment, like if we talk about very basics. So whenever you build any app, like any application, you have only been able to access them on your own computer, right? So this is basically this particular thing is known as local development environment. If you are developing your application in your own computers, so sometimes it is also known as local host. You already know that in the week 12 you also you all are you are all are in week 12, so You should knowing that what is local host and what is local development environment, right? So see, so when working on your local host, so your application code lives on your computer only, and it's only be accessed by you. So what if you wanted to take your application that is running locally and release it to the users, and you need to make it available on the public platforms or public computer. So this what are these public computers that we wanted to host upon? This basically are the web servers. Okay, so basically web servers will keep your application code and they will run it, and whatever they deliver pages to anyone who requests them. So this process, moving your code from your computer to remote public host, is called deployment. This is the first definition, or this is the very layman kind of definition. So what this deployment do? This deployment allows the computer across the internet to basically access your application, right? So whenever you deploy your application to a host, remote host, so now if you have a version that is publicly available by anyone, for anyone, and with the help of URL, anyone can access your application and can use that. Okay, so this is the one part. If you go at the second part of this deployment thing, like whenever in real world you are not just going to use them in your development environment, right? You need to want them, you need to test them, right? You need to test your application. So how is it working? What is the feedback and all those things? So basically to test them and to test them, you put them basically your application, you put your application in a QA environment, right? QA environment. And you want your users, basically you want your user or all the consumers uh, that must using your application to test them as well. Okay, so this is basically we do whatever we call it as a user acceptance test. Okay, so in the user acceptance test, what user is testing your application and giving you feedback that this is not working, or this is not good functionality, can you please change, this kind of thing. So we do user acceptance test in the staging environments, and you would want the real user to test the application. So this is the first thing, right? So you want your user to test your application. So the code you write in your development environment, you need to put it on your in a QA first, right? And then after that, you can put it on the for further stages like production and all. So this process, the whole process, the QA, the stage, and the production, this whole process is also called also known as the deployment. So deployment basically taking the code from your version control system, your system, and put it into the QA, and then in your stage, and then the production. Okay, so basically what we don't really take the code, what we do in the QA stage or production, what we do, we basically build a deployable artifact, right? We build a deployable component, basically a var jar, something like that. So deployment also, this is the first thing, like we are making or deploying your artifact. And after this stage, like it involves a lot of other things also. So like configuration part, as you can see the person who has answered in this Menti also, that deployment is a process of installing and configuring. Okay, so what is this configuring? So this is kind of second thing, like if we after the deployable component, like the artifact, deployment artifact, the second thing might be the configuration. So it's what you do, like if you might want to configure which web services you want to talk to, or which web service that you use in your development. So it may be different, right? It may be different, like in the previous stage, like at the development stage, whichever web services are you using, it may be different from the QA or anything. So this we have to configure. Okay, so we have to configure these things. So the third thing is also the database, making sure that whichever database you are using, or which so your environment is connecting to which database. You need to make sure that database is updated with all of the new tables, with new schemas, and all of these things. So this whole process, what deployment involves is deploying your artifact, and second is making sure that the application is configured rightly, and third is the making sure that your database is upgraded or working good. So this is all about this deployment thing. So in what was the first preparation of application for use? Yeah, this is also the thing that I have mentioned. Second is putting the app on the internet for use. Yeah, all of these three definitions are covered. So yeah, I think basically, deployment is all about taking your code and putting it into your QA stage or product, and this staging process and this user acceptance testing, and then the production environment. We can't directly deploy our application to the production environment because it may have many things that is not good, or the functionality that the user doesn't wanted. So that is why before deployment process, all these things we can include or include in the process itself. So yeah, this is all about the deployment. So yeah, so this okay. So this is our second question. Can you see my screen? The second question. Okay, if this question is visible, I hope, or I guess you all will start answering this question two. So I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can go on. So these are this all that like the previous question also. This all question are very minimal question, like all of you should know that you have already know that what are this. So yeah, this is you can all answer this question. No need to give much time on this type of question, because this is a very basic question and we can discuss and we can revise it, kind of summary. Okay, so content network, it hosts an efficient collection of static content that can be accessed from application code. Okay. Okay. So I hope some more answer will come. Okay, so can okay, so CDN, it helps when an application has a large user base, help in efficient delivery of content. Okay. Okay, so okay, so I think we can start. Okay, so see, if I go on reading this answer, like first response is content network. It hosts an efficient collection of static content that can be accessed from application code. Okay, static content. Okay, so second one is CDN, content delivery network. It helps when our application has a large user base, helps in efficient delivery of content. Okay. So yeah, this both like yeah, I want to add some more points to that. This is also correct, but yeah, I guess we can add more points. Like see, CDN, like yeah, you all know that what is the full form of CDN, right? CDN is nothing but the content delivery network. As the name suggests, what do you mean by content delivery? So see, Basically, content delivery network refers to some geographically distributed group of servers, right? So what this group of server do? This group of server will work together, and why they are working together to deliver contents. Okay, deliver contents are over internet, including all the HTML pages, JavaScript files, and videos that you see. So basically, this content delivery networks works by uh, offering several points of nodes. Okay, you can say this server as a nodes of a original server. By this way, any website that is using a CDN, like I'm talking about those website that is using CDN. So CDN can better manage its traffic handling, okay, and handles traffic, user request, and all of these things. And why we use CDN? Basically, we use CDN for overall experience of a user. Like for example, if I talk about some application which do not using CDN, so what will be the situation? Like for example, let's say a user goes to some website page, wants to open some website page, and he or she goes to some URL and want to navigate to some website. But this navigation is taking time, like the loading of the content of particular web page or website is taking time, and it's taking more and more time, like 3 or 4 seconds. So this is basically the demerit of not using a CDN. So if you use a CDN, what it do, it handles the user request and traffic, all of these things. The high traffic websites such as we can see this, for example, like Facebook and Amazon. All of this high traffic website uses CDN. So why they use CDN? Because uh, in the way to handle more and more user requests, right? So these websites have their information stored on data centers all around the world. So in this way, the best experience can be given to the user. Okay, so we were talking about the data centers, right? As I mentioned that this CDN, their website information is stored on the data center. So what is a data center? Basically, a data center is nothing but a highly controlled physical infrastructure, which the main purpose of this centers are for storing, processing, and delivering data and applications on demand, right? So basically, they are basic role of data center is to manage application, manage your data, backup and recovery, uh, giving a 24/7 power supply, and all of this infrastructure related things. So managing transaction and all of these things. So nowadays, what we do, many options were used in order to use this kind of data center, like such as we use data center service managed by third party applications or public cloud based services like Amazon and Microsoft. We have certain options. So yeah, so this is the CDN. So what this CDN is like, I have also mentioned something like origin server, right? Origin server. So this CDN, basically this content delivery network uh, thing, basically offers several point of presence outside of the original server. So what is this origin server? The original server or origin server is the computer that hosts the original version of your website files. Okay, so now without CDN, if you thought of a situation which without of a CDN, so your site visitor will need to request some information for directly from your site original server, right? And if each request has to return to your original server, your website workload will increase. And so in this way, the distance between the end user and the original server increase, and longer the user will have to wait for the page to load. Okay. So some of the basic uses of the CDN are some uses is like the bandwidth consumption of the website, right? It also conserve the bandwidth consumption of the website, lower the cost of the website hosting. Like this bandwidth consumption cost is the primary expense that uh, expense for a website hosting. Okay. Is a prime so this caching or other optimization CDN are able to manage. Okay, so that is why this is the first use. And second, we can see like CDN is a kind of what we can say, masking. Okay, we can say like CDN is a kind of masking of the original server. This the first original server that on which your original version of your web files are. This CDN mask all of those contents on your original server. So this is the CDN. So what is a CDN edge server? So this is all about the CDN. So CDN is something like on the data center they are used to they are present. So what is a CDN edge server? An edge server is a computer that cache content retrieved from an original server, and it is located, this server, this CDN edge server is located on one of the points that is physically closer to this your location. Okay, so let's say you have a website that is hosted on USA, and any application user is in India, in Delhi, and they wanted to access that particular website that is hosted in USA. So there is some CDN or some CDN edge server in Delhi also that is provided that is used by that particular website, and that is most proximate to particular user, a consumer, and uh, that proxy, so CDN edge server will provide you content that is required, and not you have to not go to the original server each time if you request content from them. So how a CDN works basically? So basically whenever you user request for static websites for the first time, if anyone requests kind of static things, so what the CDN do? CDN will retrieve this as this all of the resource from the original server alongside, and that CDN will take this assets and resources and places a copy of them in the nearest edge server. Okay, so it will store all of this cached copy of all of the resources, all of the things and static content in its nearest edge server, and this data will be cached and requested for user or future requests. Okay, so with the CDN, the original server have to avoid processing a future request, and uh, as I have mentioned that the data has already been cached, so it will be available on the edge server. So this is something like how it works. So if we see, like there are two types of CDN. There is a push and the pull. Okay, so what is a push kind of CDN? So whenever you push a server, that means whenever you are actually pushing all the static content on the content networks. Okay, edge. So this is somewhere something we call as a push CDN. So if I were to upload an image, what would happen to the server? It will take all of the image and push it off into the content delivery network, and CDN would take that image and cache it and onto the network. So this is all about the push, when we are pushing uh, content to the server, and pulling. What is pulling? So this actually has to request link to what we are looking for. For example, an image, when the first it's very when the first and very first person goes to that image, the CDN is going to go to the server and put that image out to the download it to the server. Okay, so when you first implement a pull server CDN, you here going to have a little bit of slowness kind of loading. And the second time, when the pull server the server, after pushing the content, the pull server will automatically show you all of the content that it had stored at the second time. after the stored in cached version, right? So yeah, okay. So this is all about CDN and how it works and what is a push and pull CDN and how a CDN works. So yeah, if we talk about caching, like if someone is thinking that what is a caching and all. So caching is nothing but a process of storing out information on the proxy server. Okay, for a set period of time. It is some set period of time in which we can store information of this on this. So before the proxy server, it goes back to the original server and get updated version of that website. So this is something like what is a caching means. So yeah, so this is all about the CDN. So I think we have only 2 responses until now. So okay, so I think we can go to the next question. We have many questions like, so this is the third question, that like what do you mean by CINCD? So CINCD, what is CINCD? This is our third question. CI means continuous integration and CD means continuous deployment. So I'm expecting some responses here such that we can quickly revise more and more questions in this session itself. And we have some more questions also. So I guess we can cover all of them in the time. Okay, so this is our third question. I'll wait for 1 minute and then we can discuss. Okay, I can see one response. So, okay. Okay, we can see 3 responses here. Okay, I think we can start discussing. Like the first is the newer method of regular update to the app. Okay, fine. So the second thing is with CI/CD, multiple developers can work on the same code at the same time. Fine. The third thing is most web application use this approaches. This is also fine. Okay, if I go to if we go into the concept in the layman terms, like see, uh, when we go back and talk about the waterfall model that we were using previously many times ago, when we are using the waterfall model. So let's say, let's suppose a scenario in which you have a client and a client says that he wants to build a project. And now in this case, you need some time to build a project, right? They asked you to build a project, but you need some time. And maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years. So yeah, so here in this case, you cannot ask your client to wait for 1 year, right? You cannot ask them to wait for 2 years, and then you can say that okay, we'll give you project after 1 year. So uh, so this is not possible. This is weird, right? So it is possible that there will be some miscommunication between the client and you. So if some okay, so if any malpractices or any kind of functionality or anything that they not wanted and you have implemented in the application, if there is a miscommunication, if you say that okay, I'll meet you after 1 year and 2 year, I'll build your project, and will give you after 1 year. So maybe it is possible that there may be some kind of miscommunication between you and your client. So you need that continuous feedback, right? Continuous feedback, and that is why we are using a different approach, which is agile. Okay, so in agile, what you are responsible is to give your client a ready product in every 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, not the entire product, but some amount of some part of it. So let's suppose you have 10 features, right? You have 10 features to implement, and your your client wanted you to implement 10 features, and so that you can give one feature in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks. So so this will really beneficial for the client side, because you are getting a continuous feedback in this. So this thing is agile. The second thing is, suppose let's say you are working on one project, and that in that project you have certain modules, you have many modules, particular project, many modules, and you have multiple developers to work upon it. Okay, so what you have done is, so you have given one modules to each one. Okay, so you are giving each and every module to each developer, different developer. Now you have a software developer working on project. Let's say that particular software developer is using Java, and he written some application on Java. So he, the particular software developer is responsible to test also, right? He's responsible to test, and testing, let's say they are using JUnit and any kind of thing, like we use in Python, right? We use PyTest, PyUnit, anything. So let's say they are using JUnit for testing. So now when you test your class, let's say you are developer and you are testing your whatever modules you have given. So it is perfectly working fine on your unit testing. Okay, so perfectly working thing. But uh, what about the integration testing? So what is integration testing? Basically, all of the developer that are working on multiple modules, like we have various modules, right? So this is one module that you have completed. So integration testing, you are not done that integration testing, you are just performing the unit testing by your side. So because all of this developer work together, and they work together, and they have integrated it somewhere. So it is very important to do integration testing also. Okay, so what this is, let's say you have something like 2 weeks of 2 weeks of what say deadline kind of thing. Like in 2 weeks you have to give one you have all developers have to give one modules that they have been assigned, and they have to do a integration testing at the end of the week, and at Saturday or Sunday they have to uh, give it to your client to see and give feedbacks and all these things. So let's say at the Friday evening, when all of you are doing integration testing, and you are testing your application with the you're testing your modules with the other modules. So what if there is some bugs? Okay, so there is a problem, because you don't want to wait for entire week to submit your project. You don't have so much time. You don't have much time for further week to uh, uh, submit your modules and thing. So to solve that problem, we have a concept of CI. Okay, continuous integration. This CI stands for what? Continuous integration. And so what happens if you integrate your modules continuously? Suppose, let's say in a day, if you may be doing 5 to 6 commits. So every time you make a change, every time you think it is working for you, in your unit test, just commit it on the repository. Okay, so the advantage is, what is the advantage? The advantage would be, let's say you have 5 developers, and all of these people will be committing to the server, and every time you commit, there will be a automation testing. Okay, automation testing, there will be a integration testing. So every commit you will be having a ready project, which is tested and working. Okay, so that is what we call a CI. The CI simply means, instead of committing at the end of the day or end of the week, so at the moment you can write your code. The moment you think it is working, you think it is working on your unit testing, you can commit it. so that it will be it will be ready for the automation testing. Okay, so after that, if we have also concept of continuous delivery. Okay, what is continuous delivery? So there is one uh, thing like continuous deployment, but both of these things are different. Okay, so if we talk about the uh, continuous deployment, continuous delivery. So let's say it is possible that you are committed your changes, committed your uh, modules to the repository continuously, like we studied earlier, like continuous integration. Okay, so let's say maybe your client says that we want to see the progress. We want to see that progress, how much the whole application is working, how it is working, how it is looking now, and all these things. You can simply show them the working model. So how? So not, you cannot show the whole application that you build in the production like server. You can give them a fake server. You can make a fake server, fake kind of server, and will run the current project on that server, so that in this way you can check the performance of the system, and they can also check the performance of the system. So you can mimic how you shift your project from your environment to production environment. You have not so it is kind of continuous delivery. So of course you will not be deploying it on your production server. Here you're not deploying it on the production server, but you are keeping it on ready on the deployment, ready for deployment, by faking it or anything, or making a dummy kind of server in which you are running all of the modules together, and after that only you can that will be ready for deployment at the production server. So at any point of time, if you think you can deploy it, you can it will be available for deployment. So yeah, so this is CI and CD. So what are our responses? So near method of regular updates to app. Okay, so this one is covered. So we can update or we can commit changes whenever we wanted. We have done the modules, or we have done the particular thing that we have assigned. So with CI CD, multiple developers can work on the same code at the same time. Yeah, this has also been covered. Most web app use this approach. Okay, so this approach, this CI/CD, and this approach is mostly used by applications. So yeah, okay, I think we can go to the next slide. Okay, so this is our fourth question. So okay, I think Devi ma'am, are you there?
Yes, yes, yes. I will continue, Sonal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, good evening, one and all. So this question is based on delivery and deployment services. So whatever you know about this question, you just post it in this Menti. Can you able to hear me? Is my voice is audible?
Yeah,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So actually, you can represent the services as models also, delivery models and deployment models. Write down the difference between delivery models and deployment models. Okay, don't know clearly. Okay, no problem. I will explain all those things. Any other question? Any other answers for this? Only one answer. Is any more answers for this? Okay, if there is no answer, I will start explaining with the whiteboard. So it's showing you cannot open the whiteboard. I think they have not given permission for me. Sonal, can you stop sharing the screen so that I will go for that whiteboard? Yes, thank you. So first we will see delivery models. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you? Okay. So in this delivery models, we are going to see three delivery models. So how the service you are utilizing, based on that, the delivery models are represented, right? So first is represented as software as a service. And second is represented as platform as a service. And third is represented as infrastructure as a service. Right. So if you so normally whatever so this delivery models and then the deployment models all are available in the cloud environment. Right. So the what is cloud environment? So cloud environment is nothing but whatever you are doing in your system and your desktop, you are owning your own hardware as well as you are owning your own software. And then if you need any other for your organization, if you need any other backup or storage or data centers, that and all you have to do it by yourself, right? So instead of doing like this, if you have a system and an internet connection, you can rent all those things from the cloud service providers. They are known as CSPs, right? So cloud service providers are nothing but they are providing the service. So whatever service you need, no need to deploy or implement in your you no need to buy the storage, no need to buy the processor, no need to install extra RAM memory for increasing the speed. Nothing. You cannot. You should have a system with an internet connection, right? Then you can get all those services from the cloud environment itself, right? So this cloud environment will be provided by the cloud service providers. Some of the cloud service provider may be Amazon Web Services, Google, IBM, right? So these are some of the cloud services that cloud service providers that are available. And you can say Salesforce, right? So many number of cloud services are available in the market nowadays, right? Based on that, how the service is provided to the customer, right? So this cloud is also an interconnection of networks where you will get the service from the particular cloud provider, right? So that is the thing. So since you are studying this MAD1 course, you know how to deploy a service and how to implement it in your own system. So the same thing will be done by this cloud service provider, but they will rent the services, and based on the pay and use, you have to pay for them, right? So that is known as the cloud service representation, and whatever you are using for it, for that only you have to pay. No need to install the hardware parts, no need to install the softwares that are required. Nothing you are going to do. You are going to just so similar to what you are paying, for that you are getting something, right? So similar to that, for paying you will get. So for that this cloud services are represented as cost effective. Because if an organization is going to implement a particular infrastructure in their place, instead of implementing all the hardwares and softwares, they can rent it from the cloud service provider. Okay, now coming back to the delivery models, right? So software as a service. So in this software as a service, so actually the cloud service providers will have 3 stacks of information, right? So first stack is represented as the infrastructure, and the second stack is represented as platform. And then the final one is represented as the application. One minute. Just I will use this. Okay. Right. So this is application. Okay, so now after this, what this will be provided. So they will develop. So infrastructure consists of storage, network, and then whatever the things that are needed for that, right? So data center, it may include a data center which consists of numerous amount of data to be stored, right? So network, storage, and then so these type of environments will be available. So virtual machines are available as infrastructure, right? And this platform consists of operating systems and the middlewares that are going to execute this operating systems, right? So like that, it consists of all the things that are needed to run that particular platform, right? So this is represented as runtime environment. And then this application is where your application is running, right? So for example, you can consider your Gmail, and any Google Docs, right? So like that, OneDrive, right? So like that, we are having so much of applications that are running, right? So this application is nothing but which is deployed in this environment, and this environment is using this backend information, which is storage or virtual machine or networking, whichever you need. So that it is utilizing that information, backend instances to store their data, as well as it's using the SDN, software defined networks, as well as it's using its virtual machine to execute it, because we doesn't know in which part of that particular cloud service provider your particular information is stored and executed, right? So that is abstracted from your view, right? So that will be provided by this infrastructure, right? So like that, it will be available, and only the application is provided to the customer, right? So we are separating this as provider, and this is customer, right? So the customer will assess the application layer, and he will utilize the he will get the response based on that, right? So whatever he is utilizing, so normally for if you take Gmail, only for the particular 15 GB, it is free, right? If you're going beyond 15 GB, you have to pay for that, right? So that is the thing we are specifying. So Gmail is also one of the cloud services. So customer is requesting for the particular service, and he is getting the response as the service response, right? So that is represented as software as a service. You will get the application itself to the customer side. And next comes platform as a service. In that platform as a service, the customer will deploy its own application. And here the cloud provider will consist of 2 stacks. One is the infrastructure, and another is the platform, right? So these two will be controlled by the CSP, that is cloud service provider, and only this will be controlled by the customer. So what he will rent from the cloud service provider, he will rent the runtime environment consisting of the storage networks, everything in the backend, and he will rent this runtime environment, and that runtime environment will be rented by the customer, and he will deploy his application over this platform. So deployment will be happen over this platform. This particular control of application management will be done by the customer, right? So in the previous one, software as a service, customer is not going to control, he is having no control over that services, right? So whatever data he is presenting to the cloud service provider will have the whole authorization to monitor as well as manage the content. Customer is not having any control over this particular application. The cloud service provider will have the entire control of application, platform, as well as the infrastructure. But if you take platform as a service, this application, that is the service which is provided as an application, will be deployed by the customer. So here the customer will act as a developer, because only the developer will know how to deploy an application over the platform, which is the runtime environment, right? So the developer will take care of monitoring and managing this application. The remaining two stacks are taken care of the cloud service provider, right? So that is coming in the platform as a service. So next, if you see infrastructure as a service. So in that infrastructure as a service, only one stack will be maintained and managed by the CSP, that is infrastructure, where it can be a virtual machine or storage or a network, whatever it may be, right? So this will be managed by the CSP. And the remaining things, two stacks, will be managed and monitored by the developer, right? So this runtime environment, which is the platform, and here it is the application, right? So what this customer will do, so this is the developer who is going to, so he will rent only the, so he is having its own environment to execute its application. So here the entire thing will be taken care by the customer itself, right? So the management as well as monitoring, as well as if there is anything service going down, every in charge will be taken by this corresponding customer, right? Only the thing he will rent or get the service as infrastructure, and that infrastructure will be used as the rented service for it. So whatever he is renting, for example, if he is using 500 GB of storage, based on that storage utilization and based on number of days, number of time request and response he is retrieving, all the things will be included, and based on that he has to pay. He doesn't want to create a data center of his own in this place, right? So instead of that, he will do all those things in this cloud environment itself, right? So that is provided by cloud service provider. Remaining two stacks are managed by the cloud customers, right? So this is the delivery model. Any doubts in delivery models? Is that clear? Any one student, if you answer, we will move on to the deployment models. Yes. I think I got it. Okay, thank you so much, Lakshmanandan. Okay, so next I will just clear all those things. Okay. So next we will move on to the deployment models. I think I have changed this. Excuse me. So this deployment models represents how the infrastructure is, how it is represented, right? So from where, which part of cloud service you are getting that content. So either it is a public one, or it is a private cloud, or it is a hybrid one. So that specifies the deployment, right? So for example, if you want to keep the entire content which is more secured and confidential, then we should go for a private cloud. That means you can, in your organization itself, you can create a cloud environment which can be utilized for your entire. So for example, if you have software companies, A1 is a software company which is running in different parts of world, right? So this is one part, different parts of the world it is running its branches. So all the parts of the world can utilize this private cloud, and that private cloud will be implemented and installed in their own premises, right? So that if that particular cloud is there in their own premises, then that is represented as a private cloud. Right. So this type of representation is known as deployment models, how it is deployed. And this private cloud can be of two types. Either it can be of on-premise, or it can be of off-premise. Sorry. So if it is on-premise, that what I have said is it everything, the hardware, software, installation, maintenance, management, everything will be done within their own campus itself or own place itself, right? So that is known as on-premise. The cloud environment will be set up, and that cloud is represented as a private cloud. Off-premise private cloud is represented. There will be a cloud environment which is public, not public, it is also private. Only the part of the virtualized private will be given to the, so as I have said, A1 informations as well as all those A1 will be available here, and this particular virtualized private will be assigned only to A1, right? And that way have so many number of environments, sorry, that will be assigned to some other cloud, some other organization like B1, right? So A1 is fully taken care of this, and that particular private cloud will be assigned to this A1, and this particular private cloud will be assigned to B1. So this is represented as off-premise. That means the cloud will be available privately, but it is implemented by a third-party cloud provider, right? So third-party cloud provider, that third-party cloud provider will provide a partition or virtualized instance to this A1 and virtualized instance to B1. So both are not related. B1 cannot able to access this. It's not possible. Similarly, A1 cannot able to access this. He will rent separately to A1 and B1. So that is known as off-premise private cloud network. And then private cloud, not network, private cloud. Okay, next, so that is about private. So second one is public, that what we are using, right? So Google, already I have said Google Gmail, Google Docs, anyone who is having a valid email ID can utilize the services, right? So that type of services are represented as public clouds. And we are having so many number of services which of trial period of 30 days or 40 days, whatever it may be. Until then also you can utilize that services. right? So that type of services which are publicly available, and if you want to use the service beyond 30 days, you can pay for it and you can use it, right? So that type of services are represented as public services, and it is available publicly. Anyone can utilize that service, right? So that is known as public cloud, and that is the second type of deployment. And then the third type of deployment is represented as hybrid. So hybrid cloud is a combination of public and private. So in which time we need that representation of private and public clouds. For example, in hybrid cloud, consider A1 is installing and implementing all the content its own premises, and that is represented as a private cloud. Some of the features, right? Some of the features are not available in its private cloud environment. Only that features will be rented from the public cloud, right? Or from the public cloud. Only that features will be rented and that will be utilized in this private cloud environment. Only the additional features, right? So additional features will be rented from this public cloud and that will be utilized in this private cloud environment. That type of cloud environment wholly at a whole is represented as a hybrid cloud environment, right? So this is how hybrid cloud, and here whatever you are doing here, and it is interoperable. Whatever things you want to send from the private to public, so that comes your containers, right? So containers or so Docker, you have learned something about, right? So containers are nothing but they are used for this interoperability. So what it won't consider about what platform you are using, what type of things. So it will create a container information which is used for interoperable between the cloud environment, and wherever you want to deploy it, you can able to create it as a container and you can deploy it. For example, if you are creating a repository in GitHub, and if you want to deploy it in anywhere, you can pull it and then you can deploy it by using this type of containers, right? So if you are having a container cloud container service, automatically that container service will provide this type of facility which is represented as interoperable. Wherever you want to execute it, this, if you have created as a container image, that container image can be retrieved and executed, right? So that is the third type of hybrid, where only the features which are not available in the private cloud environment will be rented from the public cloud, and for the rented purpose, whatever they have rented, they have to pay for, right? So that is the thing, right? So the confidential data, whichever is so why most of the organization is going for private, because most of the confidential data should not be exposed to the public environment. So that only most of the companies will place only 30% of their data information in the cloud environment. Remaining 70% is more confidential, as well as it will be based on a security purpose. That and all will be safeguarded in their premises itself, right? So that this type of hybrid cloud environment evolves, and that is the third category of deployment, right? So if you so to consolidate both delivery and deployment, delivery consists of three types. One is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and then software as a service. Similarly, deployment is of three categories: private, public, and hybrid, and how they are working and all. Also, I have explained. So if you have any other doubts here, you can ask me. Otherwise, let me stop share here. I think there is one message in the chat regarding this. I think I got it. Okay. Is any doubts? Only 2 participants are here. Okay, thank you, Lakshmana ma'am. Lakshmi Nanan, thank you. Okay, if there is no doubt, then Sonal, what we can do?
Ma'am, we can wait for some time. Then wind up.
Okay. So, instead of waiting for some time, if you have any doubts related to API also, you can ask me, right? So, how to prepare for the Viva? So Viva will be based on purely based on the project what you are implementing. So how you are preparing for the project, that CURD operations, and then if they have asked you to implement APIs, then the API operations and the database. If they are asking to change the database and show it in the real time, then you should be prepared for that. And then if they are asking to change any information in the front end, also you should be in a position to change that front end and retrieve the content from the database and show it. And if there is any chart related output, that chart should be displayed correctly. And if they are asking to change any information in the chart also, you should be in a position to change it. And once you have done all the CURD operations successfully, then obviously you will be in a better position to answer. So first of all, your codes, first you should show the output, how the code is executing. And if you have done all the operations and given a demo, shorter demo, just lesser than 5 minutes, automatically this question session will start over. And as well as you should prepare with some general Viva questions based on all the 12 weeks topics. So there will be some general Viva questions also. So that also you should get prepared for that. Is that clear? Okay, thank you. And let me thank you first, because you are the only student participant who are interactively participating and asking at least few questions. Thank you so much. Any other questions from your side? Why is Viva in 2 stages this time, ma'am? Sonali, do you want to answer for this?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. So see the basic logic behind the staging in Viva this term. Like, so see if we see previous record of the previous Viva. So many times we have seen many of the conditions, like in situation like many of students have not implemented on and all the functionalities and all things that they have been asked to, and they will simply come to the first before the Viva, and they say like some of the reasons they say like their computer is not working, and this is a new computer, and the code is somewhere different, like they are the code that they submitted at the time of the submission is somewhere different from the code that they are demonstrating at the time of Viva. So some of the functionalities can be changed. Or many of the students in many cases doesn't know anything about the applications. The application is not working fine, and every functionality, like if we are asking you to implement the CRUD functionality and any of the modifications, any of the things at the real time, all the applications, all the functionalities are working fine, but the student is not able to do the modifications, or the student was not able to explain his or her code. So there are many circumstances or many situations we have seen that the code is working fine, but the student has no idea what is going on in their application. Okay, so if we are asking them to, okay, what is this and what is that, they are just clueless of what is happening. They are not knowing that anything about their application. So in this time, why we are taking level 1 Viva? Because in level 1 Viva, we basically dealing with, or basically checking that whether you know about the functionalities or not, whether you have submitted the list, you have been asked to submit a compliance list, right? So you have to submit that what are the functionalities in your application, is it implemented or not, is the creating, updating, deleting and reading all this functionality of the CRUD is working or not. Everything that list contained should be asked in that level 1 Viva, that the thing that you have implemented in your application, you know about that thing or not. This is the basic idea. So after knowing, after our satisfaction that okay, the student knows what he's doing or not, and whether he's know about their application or not, the functionalities are familiar, okay, they have done this project or application, they have built this application on their own. After that, they will go to level 2 Viva in front of the examiners, industry experts examiners. So this is the main idea behind this, because that is not possible to give them slots each and every time. If let's say this, if you go to level 2, sorry, if we go to a Viva and there you tell that okay, so I don't know this, I don't know that, and the examiner not give you good grade, and anything that may happen at the runtime, right? So this is just to ensure that you will be prepared accordingly before going to the level 2 Viva, or before going to the main Viva, that basically contains more weightage, and basically uh, determining the your grades on the Viva, grades in the Viva, that is level 2 Viva. You must have prepared mentally, and this is the basic idea behind the level 1 Viva. So in level 1 Viva, you should be having all of the functionality, and you should know about your application. You should be asked that okay, is this done or not, is this done or not. You can give answer as yes or no, or anything about that. So basically this is what we call as we are taking as a level 1 Viva. So this is basically just to ensure that you should be prepared at least this time, this Viva, we wanted student to prepare at least before going to the Viva, before the examiners, before the real examiners that will give you the grades that like the final grades, like some more weightage that will be in the level 2 Vivas. So that is the basic thing. So yeah, this is all about I can say about it. Is there anything more about the Viva component? Any more confusion? Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we can close then if we don't have any more queries. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. Everyone, I think. Okay, so there's one more. We have to learn thoroughly about every part of the code, like how SQL alchemy works. So see, every implementation, everything that you have implemented in your code, if you are using it in your code, if you are using it in your application, you should know that. If you are copy pasting anything from any website or something, that is not allowed actually, but copying is not very much allowed, because uh, that is the thing that we are checking, right? So after you are submitted code, there will be a validity check, there will be a plagiarism check, at 2 levels, and then after that you will be able to give the level 1 and level 2 Viva. So see, first of the things that plagiarism is copying is not allowed at all. So it is a it is a like a final and warning kind of thing, like this is a not allowed thing. If you're copy pasting from some website, like many students that are copying from some Stack Overflow and all of that website. Okay, so some of the parts you can take, that is not the issue. Some of the parts you can take, some of the parts I can say, if it is very much common, that see, if you can take help from the documentation, you can take help in configuring the SQL database, on configuring the Flask API, not everything, but some of the things that you can take. But if you are implementing that much particular functionality in your application, you should know what you are doing, why you are using this. If you are copy pasting the thing, copy pasting the configuration of particular Flask SQL Alchemy, I'm giving you one example. Like this is one example. Like if you are copying one line, that is configuration of the SQL Alchemy, we do, right? We basically do a configuration kind of thing in SQL Alchemy. So if you are copying that thing, that is a big line of thing. Many student doesn't want to write each and every time the code. Okay, so let's say you are copying this from the documentation, but the most important thing is that you should know each and everything that is implemented in your code. If the SQL Alchemy database configuration is happening, so you should know what this line means. If the examiner is asking you, you should be knowing that what each and every line of code of your application. Okay, this is very much a clear thing. So yeah, you should have to learn thoroughly about every part of the code that you are written, whether it is Flask, whether it is database connectivity, whether that is functionality controller, any models, views, anything that you are implementing or creating in your application, you should be knowing that. And yeah, so this is the thing that someone has asked. Yeah, Lakshmi Nandan has asked in the chat. So yeah, you should be knowing every part of the code, every line of the code that you have implemented. Even when you have copied from documentation or any website, that is not very much allowed for a big part of code, right? So this is assumable. Like if you are assuming that configuration of SQL Alchemy and all of that we can assume, okay, you are, but you should know what it means. So yeah, okay, is it clear? Okay. Okay, so thank you everyone. Everyone, I mean, for two of you, those who are attending this session. So this is our last session. Thank you all for coordinating with our team and cooperating with us, coming to the session, and yeah. So that is all about today. So thank you all, and have a nice day. And all the best for your end term exams as well as the Viva exams. Hope you do well in that exams. So yeah, thank you. Bye. Good night.